we're here for others that are like us.
Yeah.
From Hawaii.
Yeah.
And we, we're taking that stand to be the people that they can look up to and do the same thing, copy and paste.
Copy and paste.
Have other students came through our program and surpassed us? Yes.
That's the goal.
It's like, holy crap. Really? How much projects you doing? 60, 100? Like, are you serious?
Crazy.
Yeah.
Like, took what we taught them and just like
Ran with it.
Ran with it.
Welcome to the Deals and Aloha podcast, where we talk about real estate deals, hope to leave a long-lasting impact on our audience, and of course, spread aloha. You can follow us on all social media platforms at Kamohai and Tristyn. Let's go.
Let's go. Today is different because we have our friends, now business partners. We had them on. If you're an OG Deals and Aloha podcast watcher, you guys were like very fresh onto the podcast when we first started doing it all those years back. So we have Zasha Smith and we have Fuzzy Jardine, and now they're business partners. And they run the Hui Mastermind together. And we're just talking story today. Yeah. Thanks for coming down.
Yeah, right on, you guys.
You flew in at like the ass crack of dawn this morning.
It's usually what happens, especially when I have an early flight. I woke up at 1:30, then 2, and I was like, forget.
I'm just stay up.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I feel like you guys are traveling so much lately. Like I feel like there's you're here, then you're there, then you're there. You guys are super, super busy doing all kinds of stuff. So I think for the first question, what made you guys want to start education component of your business, and how did you find each other?
That's a good question.
It all starts with
So we all know you guys call me an OG. I've been in this real estate game since 2013. Started with Fortune Builders, and then I found my way into development. So I was into development, but I did not use hard money. I was all about finding people who had funds, and then I would manage the projects and we'd split profits at the back end.
Right.
But with social media is how people were starting to see other people doing this business. And that's how I was like watching other people, watching you guys, watching some of the locals here. But then when COVID hit, we had a lot of time.
Yeah.
More time than we could handle. And that's where I found Zasha. And I noticed that she was part of or hanging out with Tereva. And Tereva was part of the Fortune Builders around the same time I signed up. So when they were posting their stuff on social media on how they're raising capital to fund their deals, I was like, bing. Maybe I should reach out to her and see if she'd be interested in showing me what she's doing so that I could raise more funds to do what I was doing, which was, buying land, building houses, and building affordable houses. So that's what I did. I reached out, but I didn't get in touch with her when she messaged the word invest. It went straight to
it's automation. It's what you got to do, right?
Went down the funnel, and it put me in front of her mentor, which I didn't want to talk to him.
I'm just trying to get in touch with Zasha.
Ryan Pinetta, right? So Ryan Pinetta's team sold me on their content creation.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
And I was one of their, I guess, second classes that they had. And, I paid for it. It wasn't cheap, but it was well worth it. It kicked me into gear to do what she was doing. But in the meantime, in the back, I was trying to reach her still yet because I wanted to have the local vibe and not talk to, Ryan and his team. Nothing against Ryan and his team, but I wanted to talk to someone that was doing it here in Hawaii.
Yeah.
And the only way I got in touch with her was through Tereva. I had Tereva's phone number. I was like, Tereva, tell this Tito. Give me a call.
I like to talk to her.
I did not know that. Really?
That's awesome.
He could use Instagram.
In fact, I went to her first event, one of her events in Maui, and it got in front of her.
Oh.
But Tereva was the one was kind of closed the deal to get the number, and then.
So you were persistent He even joined a mentorship for you.
I needed to find out how she was doing it.
Yeah.
When
Can't
I
get to the secrets that easy. You know?
Yeah. Got to put in some work, right?
For sure.
When I set my mind for something, like, it's consistency that's gonna,
pay off.
get you there.
But that's a secret sauce. I think people think that there's a secret sauce, and there is nothing that is a cheat code or whatever, but it really is just consistency. It's that simple. Okay, so you finally got in front of her, and then she said, for sure, or she denied you.
Yeah, she denied. Like, no, I'm married.
She's like, who the hell? She's like, who the hell are you?
I'm married too, but it's not
funny.
about that.
No, of course not.
It's not about
I really wanted to
It's purely
learn
business.
what she was doing so that I could implement it into my business. Because I liked what her and Terevo was doing, doing social media posts. But what happened was when I met her and started talking to her, she was like, I was asking her, how do you do this? She was like, you get on phone. And I'm like,
take out your phone.
Take your phone out.
And just start filming.
Press record. That's it. I was like, what? That's it. Like, and that's kind of how we met. And then she can tell you the rest of the story. Like,
Yeah. I mean, why would you pick Fuzzy over all of these other people that probably were even interested in partnering or whatever? You know what I mean? What was it about this dynamic that made it work? I mean, we're married, so we know what our dynamic is.
Yeah, we're stuck
right?
with each other.
But like, you guys have your own marriages, your own lives, but you come together for business. And so I want to hear from you on how that all works.
Well, the same thing is I asked my friend, like, hey, who's this freaking Fuzzy guy? Like, he keeps messaging me. And so he's like, no, he's legit. He's been doing this and that. And so once he reached out, I'm like, bro, it's easy. I'm a very straightforward person.
Yeah.
So when people ask me something, I just tell them direct, like, just film yourself and post it. Like, you just got to get used to that.
100%.
And like, the outreach was consistent, but not the posting wasn't consistent. So I said the same thing. There's no secret sauce. There's no magic trick to this thing. There is an algorithm. But other than that, you just are trying to build that trust and rapport through video content. And that's how we first met, me and you guys. Was,
social media, and joining
different mentorships, and then just staying consistent with it, posting, and it all kind of worked out because once I found out what he was doing, building affordable homes, I'm like, are you really? I was very skeptical of everyone who came in contact with me at that time. But I was also busy. So I think, people ask us, or probably every one of us all the time, how do we do it? How do you do it? You got to time block, and then you also got to choose where you spend your time, right? So my time wasn't best spent reaching out to all these people, but it was best spent with people who were in alignment with the same mission and goals that I was.
Yeah.
So once I found out he was building affordable homes in Hawaii, I'm like, how are you doing that?
Yeah.
And once he was like, oh, just come to my projects on the Big Island. So I went and I was like, okay, we got to share this with people. Like, I want to take people around because there is a stigmatism with investors in real estate and locals. And so for me, it was more important to show people, one, it's possible, but you can be local, you can be Hawaiian, you can be raised here and still do good things.
Right.
And so I think that bottom line got me into wanting to do events and showcases projects. And from there, it kind of grew. People would just ask us, oh, can you mentor us? I'm like, I have no time. Fuzzy has no time. So I think at the end of the day, once we cleared out some other projects that we were working on, or we had some longer term projects, kind of steady with the process, then we decided to spend time on that.
And you just commit, right? Like once you make the decision to do something and it's important to you, I think you just do it. I know that you guys started your mastermind way before we started ours, but ours was always put on like the back burner. But it's like that fire never goes away, and you're like, why am I saying no to this? And then once you say yes, everything changes.
Well, I think it's just making time, because everything that you do is going to affect the time with your family, especially if your plate is already full. So it's like, what can I let go, or what can I have less responsibility with, so that I can add this to our plate? Because we both like to work and we like to see the impact that we're making. We like results, and our students are getting results. They're buying properties, and we're like, we wish we would have had people like us teaching us.
Well, that's exactly what I was going to say. I mean, I think you make time for what's important for you. Right. And like, I was going to go back to the first time that we went to a seminar. Right. And what hit me and struck me the most is when I saw somebody up on stage that looked like me, that talked like me, that went through same experiences that I did growing up here in Hawaii, that really changed my mindset on what investing was and how much of a blessing is it now. We're seeing all of these opportunities that locals can learn from locals. You know what I mean? And I take that, I mean, it's a huge responsibility that we take upon ourselves to share this, but it is the coolest thing, like literally the coolest thing.
There is something that hits different when like you hear somebody or you're learning from somebody that's born and raised here versus like all of us learned from mainland people. Nothing against it. Like obviously it helped us set the foundation for our businesses now, but like there's just something so different about learning it from people born and raised here, immersed in our culture, like went to school here. You know what I mean? Where it's like, because people think that it's not possible. But we're proof that it's possible.
Yeah.
You know?
There definitely is how we were brought up that, you go, like we become workers for someone else and not to be, entrepreneur, like where I grew up. Right. And it's like, I wasn't about that. I seen my parents growing up, my grandfather always working, grandma would stay at home, but then grandpa was always gone working. Right. My mom, 2-3 jobs,
Yeah.
I didn't want that for me and my family. So that's what, my mindset was like, I don't want that. So I was looking for something. And when the group came to Hawaii, I was ready. I was all about it because I knew real estate was it. And when I went, whatever the guy was saying, it just made sense. And I was like, they're looking for somebody to be part of their team.
That's me.
I'm the guy.
Yeah.
And I made it happen.
Yeah.
So you guys got together, you created the Hui Mastermind. And so what is it? What does it focus on? Because you guys are super busy with the Hui Mastermind. I see you guys out and about, always at auctions specifically. So tell us more about your strategy, what you guys are teaching students, all of that good stuff.
So first off, our mentorship, when we started it, because that's the whole reason when he reached out to me, he got sent to my coach's team because I wasn't ready to take on teaching other people, or I didn't feel like I was at the level to where it was meant for me at that point. And so I felt I had so much more growth to do before I stepped into that role. And once we started teaching people, seeing the results, it was like, okay, what is our goal with this? And it was like, our goal is to teach people, local people like us who were born here or raised here, and maybe they moved away, that's fine. But we had to be really narrowed down on who our avatar was.
Right.
And so it's people like us who are trying to stay here or build generational wealth. We actually get a lot of older people too that join that are like, I'm trying to learn this for my family so I can teach my kids or my grandkids and they can stay here.
Yeah.
So the age range is all over the map. But I think because they get the two sides of my focus has always been raising money. His has been the new construction. We've both done a little bit of projects all over the place, commercial, rentals and flips and things like that as well. But I think because we bring those two different aspects, it gives people that ability to then go and take that next step. So whatever the strategy is, we help them implement. So, you guys know the first thing is finding a deal.
Right.
You run multiple different strategies. And so we focus on finding the deals. And lately we've been focusing on tax auctions because that truly is one of the ways that you can get in for just a few $1,000s.
Yeah, for super cheap.
Little to no money. Yeah.
And people don't
cheap.
know about it. It's not talked about, you know? Yeah. Because you went to one today. Right?
Yeah. So we went to the Oahu tax auction today. And we do a lot of, so for us, we do run a paid mentorship, but we do so much for free. The meetup today was free. And all it is us showing up, going through the experience with them and then talking about it after.
Yeah.
That's
because
cool.
I feel like a lot of times too, I first started going to foreclosure auctions.
Right.
And when I would go, there would be there's always a set, like, I feel like this generation coming up isn't like as closed off as the previous generation. So when I would go, it was a lot of older men and they wouldn't want to talk to me. I'm like, oh, is this where I stand for the auction? And be like,
What are you talking about?
They just
Get
would
out of
not
here.
talk to me.
Right.
But I kept showing up every single week or whenever there was one, and I would just move a little bit closer and like talk story with the attorneys. So it's just, I think nowadays there's more people that are open about it. And it does, I mean, rub people the wrong way sometimes. Like, oh, you're sharing all the secrets and now there's more competition out there. But for us, I'm like, I'd rather it be more local competition.
Absolutely.
100%.
And people that will care about the community and put their kids in these homes or put themselves or, you know, even if they're using it as a rental, hopefully they'll rent to people on Section 8 like we do. So, you know, I think overall there's more meaning to it than just buying properties.
Yeah.
I mean, because you know we've made ourselves successful in this business. We paid the price to, you know, we paid the high ticket price for our education. Of course, the education came from the States here, which I feel like a lot of the local mentors here were scarcity mindset, like she was saying. A lot of them didn't want to share all the secrets, right? And I was scared too when she was like, bro, we need to share what you're doing because there's not much people, you know, doing what you're doing. That's you selling these houses for like, you know, $325, $350 brand new in Hawaii. Like people need to know about this.
Right.
Well, and people always think like, oh, I got to move to Vegas to buy homes at that price, but you could move to the Big Island.
Stay in Hawaii.
Yeah.
And it was just, you know, like we did a webinar, and from the webinar, it turned into a bus tour to the Big Island in Hilo, where I go to HPM, and HPM, I buy the plans from them, also buy the materials from them. And then we took them to a piece of raw land where I purchased, and, you know, they found the pins, getting ready to bulldoze. Then we took them to a bulldoze lot. To a lot that was...
they just see the process.
All the steps.
In real time,
you know, and then to a finished product, and then sat there and talked to them on, dude, it's possible. I came out of prison with $0 in my pocket. Yes, it took me some time to get where I'm at today, but it's possible that you can purchase land here and build an affordable price and stay here in Hawaii. And everybody was like, oh my God, you're right. Like, it's real.
The light bulb goes off. Yeah.
Well, coming from Maui, your price points are even higher than us here on Oahu. You know what I mean? So like, you're like, that doesn't exist anywhere. It's like not even, it's like a studio in Waikiki, you know, or not even. But I mean, I genuinely feel like the amount of resources that are available, local mentorships here that are available today were non-existent when we started, let alone when you started. You know what I mean? So like now is more than ever an opportunity for people to have access and like an abundance of access or, you know?
And I feel like a lot of people too, you just, like any kind of mentorship or coaching, you go with the people that resonate with what you want to do or that you resonate with. And for us, you know, we definitely are always running into people in different mentorships, and we are cool. Like, I love it.
That's awesome.
Keone has his own. So we know we've had him on ours, and we're going to have you guys on ours too. So.
Hell yeah. Let's go.
And vice versa. But
yeah.
I think it's just important for people to realize, like, hey, all these investors are working together, or like they might be doing their own thing and have their own strategies.
But it's collaboration. It's not competition, because you can be successful over there. We can be successful over here. And ultimately it's impact for the community in general. And that's all that really matters. I mean, but we were always aligned in that, you know, it was always like, no, like if we can help our own selves, then we can help other people, you know?
I agree. And especially when we first started, like, I feel we're just talking about that before I got here. Like me, you, Daniel, there's a few of us who just really scaled so quickly from 2020 to now.
Yeah.
And
it's crazy.
Amazing to watch. Just all the struggles too. I think looking back at it and seeing where we're at now, people are like, oh, how did you do it? Like, same thing. What's the secret? And it's like, there's no secret.
No secret.
We were struggling.
Yeah.
Like, we were struggling through it all. And I think even like Fuzzy mentioned, people, and this is what it was just my birthday last week. So I kind of had some reflection.
Happy birthday.
Hey, babies.
It's coming up.
But it just made me kind of reflect on how far we've come. And I think I like that you talk a lot about it and have spoken openly just about past trauma and like recovering from that and just moving past it, because no matter what you do, what level you get in life, like there's still gonna things that you need to heal from. And I think it's important for people to know the struggle side, the challenge side, like nobody's perfect. And I think that's why even for me in the beginning, I didn't have that confidence that I do now. But I think it's because I've proven to myself that I deserve it, that I'm worth it, and that I'm doing the right thing. And not a lot of people have that either.
But I think that's why it's so, like, I'm so passionate about starting there, because again, like you can climb the ladder and you can have success, but ultimately your trauma is still going to find you, or that negative self-belief is still going to find you, or imposter syndrome or marriage problems or whatever it is, it's still going to rear its ugly head, because even though you've achieved that goal or checked that box, like you're still you. You know what I mean? And it can almost hold you back. And I feel like it did hold our business back for a minute, because I was holding us back. I wasn't ready because of all of that stuff, you know? And I feel like, what is your stuff that's like a lock and chain that you need to like open up, you know?
And just the people you're around, or just the way you grew up. So like we were always taught to be humble, right?
Don't talk about money.
Don't talk about money. Yeah.
And then we won that first award at the Clever
Summit.
At the Clever Summit. I remember that.
That was wild.
Right?
Unexpected.
Unexpected.
Where is that? Where is that?
Bring up that footage. No, but it was then, and then getting on, like that's why I will forever be grateful to my mentor, Ryan Pineda, because he pushed me up, and I was like, no, I'm just trying to stay down and be low key and under the wire. He's like, no, girl, here's get on this stage. Like, this is the first one. Now you're going on the second one. Like, just get used to putting yourself out there, because you never know who you're going to inspire and who's going to be inspired by you. And I just remember too at Clever Summit, I ran into Diedrich, who we interviewed one time, and he was crying when he met me. I'm like,
I remember that.
I know.
You came up to me and said that. Yeah.
But he was just like, man, it's nice to see other people who came from nothing, built themselves up, and are just killing it.
Still remembers like Diedrich. You know, we went to one of Ryan Pineda's events, and Diedrich's like, dude, you guys come to Vegas, make sure you call me. I'll help you guys out with anything. Like, super cool guy. You know, always willing to help, you know, because we inspire, you know, like she inspires, or, you know, we inspire him. And
And I think it's those little moments, like you mentioned, when you know you're ready and you start making this impact, and, you know, now you guys are all over the TV.
Talk about putting getting pushed out there.
You know, it's a ledge.
But
I remember at Clever Summit talking about it too with you guys, because that's when the opportunity
first started happening.
The conversations were happening. Oh my gosh, Clever Summit.
Right.
That's wild.
Yeah, a lot happened at
But
Clever.
again, it's also like, that's why it has to start with you, because you never know when you do the work internally what doors are going to open externally, and then you can be aware of them and then walk through that door. Otherwise, that door might not ever open. You know what I mean? And then it's almost about being willing. Like you have to be willing. It starts there.
And then you just got to take the leap. You know what I mean?
Consistency.
At the end of the day. I mean, I feel like when you're marching in the right direction and you're being super consistent and you're constantly taking action, the opportunities are always coming. You're not always ready for them. You know what I mean? And I think as long as you're continuing to move forward and take that positive, consistent action, you're going to find those opportunities. Those opportunities are going to come, you know, eventually. I think, what would you guys say to the person that is like us that is scared to take that first step? Like what is that first thing that they should do? It's a hard question because I mean,
I know I was ready at that moment that the commercial came on, because I was with, not stuck, but I chose to have 3 jobs because I was trying to build capital. My wife and I was looking to purchase our first home. So I was trying to build money to, for a down payment and stuff, but I was ready because I knew I didn't want to work 3 jobs, and I was coming from all the way from Waianae side to go to work, when we did first purchase our first home. So I didn't want to be stuck in those 3 jobs.
Right.
Like how I watched my mom. I was becoming my mom.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I made the decision, like, hey, the commercial came on. I was like, bro, this is it.
Wow, it was a good commercial because that commercial got me
it got us too.
Didn't get me. I did go to the seminar. And they're like, wait, what?
40 grand?
40 grand?
Yeah,
What?
What caught me was that they said use none of your own money.
That's what got me too.
None of your own money. I was like, I'm all about that because I ain't got money.
But
that was the very thing that made me think it was a scam too. So that's the difference between us. I was like, wait, they said none of our own money? Come on, babe. That's not possible.
No, I resonate with that so much because we weren't working 3 jobs, but we were struggling to run our own businesses, had 2 kids. I think you have to be so sick of your current situation and like unwilling to stay in that for it to push you in another direction. I feel like a lot of people maybe just aren't there.
It was a strong enough why to be sick and tired of driving in traffic for 3 hours, sometimes 4, going back and forth from home, work, back to home.
Yeah.
I was over it.
Yeah.
I had to figure something out. Because if I was to change my job and just stay on the west side, it wasn't, because you're not going to get paid that
Like
much.
nothing's
Right.
Everything was in town.
Yeah.
So, to someone that's, starting, like, one is the what we're taught, like growing up in our family, like we're all taught to go to school, get your education, get a job, or go join the military, become a firefighter,
or get a city and county job.
City and county, stevedore if you're lucky.
But then you tied to that job. When you get freedom to do stuff that you want, or don't miss any holidays or birthdays or practices and recitals that a lot of people miss,
right?
And they wish it was there.
You know what I also think holds a lot of our local people back, like including me back then, was like, it's okay to want more. It's okay to have big goals and not dim them because of what you were taught growing up or what your family dynamic was. Like it's okay to want more, and that doesn't make you greedy. That doesn't make you hi maka maka,
boastful.
Like it's okay.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if all of us didn't want more or something different for our current circumstances, we wouldn't be here.
Right. And it's not necessarily more for ourselves. It's more overall in general.
Yeah.
Because as long as you can balance out that time, and I mean, we're both guilty of working way more than we should.
Oh, yeah.
You know, when they say you're
what
entrepreneur,
is balance?
It's like, okay, it's not a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
It's
24/7.
Right. It's all day.
It's the 9 to 10 p.m.
And my brain doesn't just shut off, So I think to anyone getting started, like you just have to have that desire, that burning desire to want to change your life or your current situation. Like you said, for me, I was working my job and I was already working 6 days a week. But I was so tired, mentally drained, and I would come home from work and just lay on the couch. And I couldn't really function other than I would have to rest. So I had already reached the ceiling at my job. I got my license, and my next step was to take over my boss's job. So seeing her go in 7 days a week was a wake-up call for me, like, oh, okay, now I'm going to just be working all the time. And not for myself, right? For my company.
Right.
And so for me, I love the opportunity because I came from nothing. I did what I was supposed to do. I put myself through college. I even had my first child, my second year in college. So my route was to continue on that path of like, okay, just move home. It'll be easier. I was in the mainland at that time taking care of a baby. And I was like, no, I don't want to relive that cycle. I want to be different.
Right.
So that's what drove me to become an engineer, finish school, move home. Yeah. And I wasn't satisfied. I knew I wasn't living to my full potential, and building these $1 million hotel renovations, these shopping centers, and these subdivisions for people that didn't even live here or had no ties to Hawaii. Right. I think that's another thing that bothered me was like, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Like purpose.
Yeah.
So. What would you say to people like at our level that have mentorships, that have successful businesses, and all of the stuff that comes along with running multiple businesses? Like, what would you say to us on like how to keep going, how to keep filling your own cup so you can keep pouring out, how to keep growing your business? You know what I mean? Like, talk to our clan,
Well, for me, it would be just keeping in touch and keeping surrounded by people that are doing what you want to do or at a level higher than you, and ask their advice.
Right.
And I think there's a lot more people that are open about what they do, how they get through things, and the challenges that they face as well. And like my mentor is still, I can call him at any time. Yeah. And just ask him or his wife or any of the people that I started with too, and you guys as well. Yeah. So it's just keeping in touch with those people, but also surrounding yourself by people that love you. And now I get my sister.
There you go.
Working with me now. And,
that's cool.
Trying to support her dreams and spend more time together. I think at the end of the day, even when you don't want to necessarily just shut the computer off and spend time with your family, I have to force myself to do that and drink water and eat.
The things that you have to do to survive. That's so funny.
But I think, just hiring people.
It's important
to remind you.
I think a lot of people forget, even for us, it's a constant learning situation, right?
We're constantly building new businesses.
We're constantly exactly. But like, yes, we are mentoring and teaching people what we know, but we're also learning and surrounding ourselves with people that are doing way bigger things than we are. And I think that's something that has to always happen and will continue to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like for me, I went and signed up with Tony Robbins and Dean Graziasi's class to become or teach us how to be coaches. I was in it first, and I was like, we were doing our Hui Mastermind, our 4-week program, and then we're just kind of getting that on plateau, and we're just trying to figure out, trying to become how we become coaches.
It's a skill. It's a skill. Not everybody can do it. You know what I mean?
How to run the business side, right?
Because there's two sides of it.
I'm just full on construction, project manager, guy on the field, and I cannot do this business on my own. So it was awesome to be with, partner with someone who knows the back end stuff or has had some type of team knowledge that she was working with already. Right. And we both kind of, jive together, and it's been a blessing because there's, a lot of people that came through the program and, successful too. A bunch of
cool.
9 properties. We have Kyoto,
the one that, the ones that took action.
That's amazing.
Took action, really, you see them succeeding.
Which there is like no better feeling. It's nuts when you see your like direct impact on somebody and now the impact that they're having on their family and their community. You know what I mean? Because that's the thing. We're creating little soldiers that are then creating little soldiers. We have a bunch of local people keeping our money here, doing everything here. It's just it's so freaking cool.
And that's the Kuleana thing, right? Our Kuleana is what we're doing, passing on our knowledge down to others, and then we've seen those that footage of what we're doing.
Yeah.
The spirit is growing, right?
Yeah.
The Aloha spirit.
Yeah, big time.
So your guys' partnership together.
Business partnership.
Business partnership.
Business partnership.
I've met both their spouses and their children. But your guys' business partnership together, how does that work? Like, did you just know automatically this is your role, this is your role? How did you guys decide that, hey, if something goes awry, this is how we're going to handle it? You know what I mean? Because it's not always easy to work with somebody else and run a business with somebody else. Like, so how did it work? Who's the visionary?
Patience.
She's the visionary. I already know.
I gotta have plenty of patience.
And she's like, I have to have plenty of patience.
No, like it's all women behind the scenes, right? So I do
we
it
run
all
the
way.
world.
So I just listen to
Even
what
in
they
his
tell
home
me to
life,
do.
his wife
Just
runs
listen.
everything. He just listens to the women, and
That's so
his life elevates. So it's true.
Look at where he is.
There's proof in the pudding. That's
No,
funny.
I think we always knew our strengths, like especially after I seen his projects, and he's flying back and forth every single week to the projects. So once I seen that, I was like, hey, you can teach them how to buy and build, and I can help with the back end of helping them
the logistics,
raise money, build teams, make the connections, network, social media, all of that. So
right.
I think as we grow, then our team grows as well.
100%.
So now we have about 6 or 7 people on the back end to help
all
us.
girls,
That's awesome.
but there's
All girls.
Neil's sorry. Only me and Neil.
Sorry, Neil.
Sorry, Neil.
So Neil's he helps with creating our websites and our email campaigns. And he's been awesome. He's been good on the calls. Every like Monday we have team calls.
Yeah.
For like an hour or two sometimes. And it's been okay, Fuzzy, you got to do this, do that. Did you read your email? Did you do this? Like, oh, sorry. But I got to do this.
Yeah.
But I think from there too, the trust grew with us to now we bought 32 lots together.
Right.
We're building affordable housing.
I know.
So
Yeah.
I think overall our focus on our own journeys as far as real estate goes kind of just came together, and now we're focusing on the 32 lots, focusing on our mastermind, teaching people how they can get started.
Right.
And then also just building up other parts of businesses or our personal life that we want to focus on.
Right.
Because he already been to like 5 different countries this
What?
year. Foil boarding.
I'm jealous.
Doing all the things.
Jealous. I see. We were going somewhere and we saw you in the airport.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
A couple times.
Where were
You
we
were coming
going?
back from somewhere.
And then I look on Instagram and brought us skiing or snowboarding.
Yeah.
You got it all figured out.
I get around. But
It's because women.
just marry someone or have somebody in your family that works for an airline.
Airlines. You can fly for free. I knew you were going to say that.
That's the ticket.
Yeah.
Marry in the business.
That's hilarious.
Yeah,
That's
and I think
hilarious.
moving forward too, we're focusing on bigger projects, which
I was
were
gonna ask, like, what
more
are you guys
hands-off
focusing on?
and passive. And so for me, a lot of my bigger projects, the syndications, apartment buildings, RV parks, are at a place where now they're built up and they're creating revenue,
Right,
so
right.
can breathe a little
So
bit.
you're like on to the
Yes,
next.
and I don't need to be. Before I was so focusing on flips because I needed that quick
Active income. Yeah.
Then buying rentals and flipping, buying rentals, and then now it's like, okay, my rentals are good. I have passive income from creating a fund, raising money, and then now this Hui Mastermind. Now we can focus back on these this
Bigger
32
projects.
lots.
Yeah. Let's talk about the 32 lots. Tell me about the project.
Man, this property came on through a MLS. It was on the MLS. Sat on for a while. I was watching it, and I put in an offer, lowball offer.
Aggressive.
No, lowball. I just
He's like, no, this is below low. This is below
lowball
aggressive.
because I knew. No, but I knew the realtor. I knew the realtor. I knew the realtor what he bought it at, and I knew it wasn't gonna sit because the location and needed to do a lot of civil work with the property.
Yeah.
Back then, that property was available, but at that time in my beginning stages, I wasn't ready. I didn't have the team or the knowledge to do what Zasha and I are about to do with these 32 lots. So the 32 lots, I put in an offer after I got rejected, and he denied again. So I said, okay, let him go. And I think a few more months went by. The thing was still on the market. I was surprised nobody jumped on it. And I told my agent on the Big Island, and she was like, I thought, hey, you know what? Just put in another offer and see what happens. Sure enough, he denied it, but he came to a price that I said, hey, this is going to work. So we're able to get the properties at like $4,700 per quarter acre.
It's crazy.
At like, it's 8 acres total, but all has its own TMK or address. Up in this neighborhood. And the goal was, for me, I was gonna do it, but I didn't want to do this,
It's a big project. I was
sure the wealth. Like, hey, my partner figured she, would be able to raise capital, buy the property, and then, go into, I was thinking more of a long-term play on these 32 lots where we build the properties and then rent them out, refinance. Then the market changed,
Yeah.
So
sure did, didn't it?
Market shift.
Yeah.
But it was a blessing that we were able to purchase, her
when you did,
The funds came from, Zasha's husband, who was willing to put up the funds to purchase the lot. So no interest bearing right now.
Right. Which is unreal.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's unreal.
And they were able to also get a grant from a company called Oista Corporation that gave us $250,000 towards our project. And
Nice.
so that $250K has been going into do civil work, which is, the roads that we needed to create to get to the property. So And then we're looking to now with the new law in Hilo, we might be able to build we might be able to build 2 houses instead of 1.
On the same lot.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So now we might be able to
that.
do a DSCR loan to refinance out to pay back the debt. Probably now at a higher percentage, because we're looking for monies to fund through either a grant or nonprofit organization or a line of credit to help us with the low interest bearing loan, so we can refinance out and then hold the property and then rent it to Section 8 or people on HUDs. The HUD list.
So we are looking for people to help us with that grant process and potentially forming a nonprofit to get the funds, because it really is a passion project for us. And to keep with the mission of it truly being affordable housing. So we need $11 million if you know anybody that can help us raise that money.
But we might be open to. We just sat with the mayor a few weeks ago, and he was, "Well, you guys ever thought of doing lease to own?" And it was like, we did think about it, but we're just still new to this project, and
Well, and it's I got to build the houses to be able to actually do anything with them first. So
You
you're
gotta
I'm not
raise the
there yet.
capital.
We need to actually have the capital to build to be able to provide with whatever that looks like,
But so to do 32 projects at one time, there's like she said, 11 million. But we're also looking
Break
to
it into phases.
Yeah, it's like phases. Sound familiar?
I know. We're literally our
crazy.
multifamily is an $11 million raise,
and it's
it's
three
identical.
It's wild.
And
So
we're
crazy.
looking at tax credits to pay for that, which is crazy. But
So if you guys do, this is what the nonprofit Oista Corp was telling us. If we do off grid, smart living, there's ways that you can get grants or tax
because they
incentives or
specifically
write-offs.
target eco-friendly.
That's cool.
Interesting.
So we're looking into all options to, build this project out. Still, we're just still trying to work on the roads, because right now we got no power to the property.
Yeah.
It's on the other side of the street where we're gonna, once we're
bring
done
it
with
in.
the road, we're bringing in the
bring in power. Yeah. And
It's
then
all the stuff you have to deal with when you deal with raw
I
land.
did not know this. That's why back in the day, I could have got these properties super cheap back
Right.
then. And then it came up, still affordable, but now
right.
the the knowledge of Manao to put the team together and okay, gonna cost us this much,
right?
To bring in the power, and it makes sense to it because the properties are selling for 20-25 grand in this area. We got it for 47, but it costs us to bring power and road. Okay, we're still in the properties like 15 to 18K now, so it's still
you're still got a spread there.
Yeah.
How crazy is that? From sitting on a Zoom like 4 years ago.
Was it 4 years? It was a while ago.
4 or 5 years ago. Yeah, I remember we were in your nonprofit at the time, and we were talking to you and Zasha. I mean, you and Tadeva.
Yeah.
And literally, you're talking about doing a 32 unit development right now, this short time later. It's like, it's freaking wild.
It's all wild. Just from taking massive action. That's all it's from.
Yeah.
And so that's what's possible for anybody. You can look back 5 years later and be like, holy crap. And we stumbled and bumbled our way through all of it. You know what I mean?
How did you figure it out? It's like one step at a time.
Exactly.
But I think, like you mentioned, just having clear goals too, especially in the beginning, because you can go in so many different directions that you learn a little bit of this and then that and then this, and then you end up going nowhere.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think it's just keeping clear in the beginning. Okay, what is my end goal? And then work backwards from there.
Yeah.
And you'd be surprised how much faster you get there when you already have those goals.
You got to start with the end in sight. Right.
And that's why I tell everybody too, is before I thought this was like hippie stuff and like, I am statements and affirmations.
Yeah.
And like, okay, I live and put you at the beach. That's what I would do all day long. But I think it does work if you
work
put your mind to it, right?
Yeah.
And you concentrate on that, and then you just get used to. And then now it was so funny because when I first started, I was journaling, I was doing all of that, I was reading books, and then now I see, many years later, now my husband's journaling every day, and he's praying, and I'm just like, this is what I wanted way back then.
Yeah.
And I think that's important for anybody in this business too, is just like you and your actual partner, your husband or wife might not be on the same page, but that doesn't mean that you're not going to end up where you need to be.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like that ripple effect that we talk about, right? It starts within your immediate family and then it just keeps growing outward from there, but you modeled that consistency for him, and then he's like, oh shit, something's working.
Yeah, look at what's working. I mean, you guys might maybe not on the same page yet, but it doesn't mean you never will be.
Yeah. And there's days we wake up, we're not on the same page.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah.
Well, I think that is because a lot of people ask me like, how do I get my other half on
board? Yeah.
I want them to do this, or like, it's like you just need to be able to do it on your own. And if they come on board, that's cool. If not, like, everybody has their own path.
Yeah.
And he's always been supportive with helping me in all other aspects. Like, he cooks, he cleans, watches the kids. He runs his own business. He has his own
business.
Woody's plumbing.
Woody's plumbing services.
On Maui.
Let's go.
But yeah, he's amazing in everything that he's able to handle on his own as well. Yeah. So I think we are just very independent people. Yeah. And, you just got to do it for you at the end of the day, for your family, of course, and your community, but you got to figure out your own path and be confident and comfortable in that. And it does take time. Like we talked about in the beginning, I wasn't always confident in it. I didn't know what I was supposed to do next. I was spending all this money on mentorships and properties and going through all these challenges, during the projects that I wanted to give up so bad.
Oh yeah.
But I also was like, no, I got to see this through, because I want to build affordable housing, because that's where I came from. So I want, this is going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to power through.
Yeah.
Well, you got to have a no matter what mentality, like no matter what. Yeah, this is hard. And, not a, this is hard, but no, I think it's it's hard and I'm still going to do it.
Yeah.
Well,
that was me. I didn't know, my wife was girlfriend at the time when I signed up with Fortune Builders. She's like, you're crazy. We're buying a house, right? Like, yeah, but dude, I know that's me. So I'm like, bing.
Yeah.
And I had to, like in the beginning, I had to really show, hey, this is for us. I seen the vision. I knew our why, or my why was to, get involved with this thing so that we could live a happier life as a family.
Yeah.
She's been, my billboard, whoever she talks to, or because I'm over social media, everybody comes to her. Is that your husband? Yeah, he does this, but she's definitely been supportive as well.
Yeah.
She also works in, insurance. So she does commercial and homeline insurance. I think.
Yeah.
She's been in the industry since after high school.
Yeah.
And then, she's a big plus because she works for Hawaiian Airlines, and, that helps me to be able to fly over and cut costs on going back and forth like I do. So
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
even though she's, not like how you guys, which I wish we, we're like that. We're both in the business, but it's not her thing, so.
No, but she's your foundation.
Yeah.
That allows you to keep reaching for higher. So
I think it's just important for people to understand that it's okay.
Yeah.
Right? Like this doesn't always work.
This isn't
what I mean? And and don't force anything.
Yeah.
Like if it happens, it happens. But like Zasha said, you're on your path. At the end, you're both marching in the same direction.
exactly.
Right? As long as you guys both are marching in the same direction, whatever path that you're utilizing to get there, it's okay if it's not the same path,
Yeah.
So we're around a lot of people that are like high level, I would say, investors. And you alluded to it earlier, where we're constantly working and you have to force yourself to turn off, because I think for all of us, the end goal is like, we want more time.
We want to
and
turn
experiences and spend that time with the family. And that's what we want, So how do you force yourself to turn it off? This is hard for me because I'm asking you
Fuzzy
for real
takes
life.
trips.
I'm going to tell you right now.
Yeah.
That's something I need to work on.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I think it's something, if we're all
'Cause-
being honest, we all have to
Because
work on.
when I'm on vacation, I still working. And
Same.
my wife
100%.
is looking at me, bro, we're on vacation. I'm like, I can't not
But if
answer
the
this
phone is
call.
going
Yeah.
off, yeah.
And she's been a blessing because she knows what I deal with, as like acting general contractor, acting. Well, I don't have my license,
Yeah.
but that's who I'm acting as.
Yeah.
Project manager, right?
Business
Ordering all
owner.
the materials, then we got our calls every week. So it's like,
Yeah.
so I'm working on it.
Yeah.
And, time blocking is important because that will, give me, it's not saying I don't give time for my family. I do, but I need to work on to get more,
Yeah.
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 I think we all need to do that. But I can honestly say this past time, when we took a family trip to Branson to go see our RV park, and I took my mom, my husband, and our son, we really, I was videoing, capturing content, but I wasn't constantly on. And it was really nice. And just being in the moment, especially with my partners who I never really see either.
Right.
I was way more intentional with my time there than I am at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So being intentional with your time, I almost was like, we just got to take more trips.
You do.
Well, you got to
where
be.
you have no service.
Yeah, but while you're on the trips, you got to be super present. You know, I think that's the one thing that I'm working on now, is because there's always so much going on in my brain and so much to do. I'm always thinking forward. Like
So you
my
can't be in the
brain is
present.
always like, what's next? What's the next thing I have to do? What's the next
What's
task?
the fire? What's the fire?
Right.
Yeah.
And I think my kids suffer because of that, because I'm not present with them in the moments when I'm with them, even if I'm not doing anything else, because my brain is out there, you know, doing all of these other things. So I've been practicing catching that feeling. It's something that it's hard for me to do, But when I'm with my children now, and this just happened to me this weekend, I was swimming with my son in the pool, and I caught myself thinking about things that I have to do and reeled myself back in and just focused on being present with my son.
Yeah.
And I think that's all it is. It's about recognizing that you do it and then pulling yourself back and really practicing presence.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. And then like, I think what works for us is like on this day, it's literally nothing scheduled.
Yeah.
You know, like that day is not for work at all, period. You know?
It's tough, you know, when like I'm a workaholic and you know,
I think we all are.
Yeah.
And it's tough to put down, you know, the business. And it's like you said, like I get that same issue. Like I get plenty of projects going on. I know my mind is just going. Even when I'm going to bed, I'm like, it's
But that's why it turns on more
Like
usually.
Yeah.
usually when you want to go to sleep, you can't.
Yeah. Yeah. So what is your guys' goal for the Hui Mastermind? I mean, how many students do you have? Like, do you want to grow it to a certain level? Do you want to have certain amount of success story? You know, like how do you know if you've made the impact that you want to make with it?
I feel like we already have.
Yeah.
And every single call, every single month, we step back and think and evaluate, okay, is this worth going the extra mile another year? Because when people join, they're joining for another year. So we constantly have to kind of reevaluate our team, how many people are coming in. And also, like you mentioned, like if the students are taking action.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's why we started implementing more of this free stuff, which is not necessarily free because it's more of our time, but it is helping them to be more around
like
us.
immersed.
Right.
Yeah.
And like I think Keone or whoever, everyone always says it, like be close to the campfire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they need more of us. And so like I mentioned before, it's just like, okay, but where can we fit this in? And what are we doing in place of that in order to be more present for our students? And I think they feel that and they are very appreciative.
Yeah.
But for us, it's mainly a time thing. And
but like for me, it's like I want to be that pillar or inspiration. Like the money part, well, you know, for a coaching program, high ticket item or whatever it is, the cost. Like we paid way more. We
we've
pay
paid
100%.
all of us.
I'll drop
Yeah.
10 grand, 20 grand right now. If that person that is talking my language that I want to learn from, I'm going to drop
If
money.
they have a skill that I need to learn,
And the thing is, like, we know the difference in Hawaii. Like, everybody is more expensive, but if that person is ready, they will pay for the service or 100%. The time, you know. But we, you know, you guys too, I commend us because we're here for others that are like us.
Yeah.
From Hawaii.
Yeah.
And we, you know, we're taking that stand to be the people that they can look up to and do the same thing, copy and paste.
Copy and paste.
Have other students came through our program and surpassed us? Yes.
That's the goal.
It's like, holy crap. Really? How much projects you doing? 60, 100? Like, are you serious?
Crazy.
Yeah.
Like, took what we taught them and just like
ran with it.
I love that.
You know?
And even at today, then she came to one of our workshops, the Moani, and she passed the redemption period. Now she has the property, and she's in other coaching programs. And a lot of our students are in several coaching programs.
Yeah.
But it was just awesome. She's this local young mom, and she's just so excited for her next journey.
Yeah,
and,
next steps.
You know, building it out. And so I think it's just seeing someone, like you mentioned, just take what we taught them, buy land, start building, stay here.
Yeah.
For not only themselves, but their family.
Who is your mentor? Who mentors the mentor?
Whew, good question.
You know what I mean? Because I feel like we get to that point and then it can be pretty isolating. It can be not as close to the fire, right? So like, and I think we should all connect on that because it's like, who mentors the mentor?
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I think it's on us to then, especially the people that are local here, to connect and share. And I know we try to, but
we got to be better.
We are
No, but
needing to do something.
It's a blessing what you guys are doing too with the Priced into Paradise. Like that opens up huge mindset for others that's not in this industry, but can find out how they can be priced here.
Yeah,
that was huge.
Yeah.
I'm excited for
There's
this
a lot
year.
of
that was a
people-
huge goal for us is to do an event like that. That was massive. I was emotional that day because I was like,
well, it was hard
coming to
because
life,
that
in
day,
real time.
like we flew in the night before. We were in Utah filming Rock the Block, right? So it was like this culmination of a vision that we wanted to do for like so long, and then we get in there, do it.
At
There's
the
a great
busiest
turnout.
time of our career.
Oh,
like,
totally,
ever.
totally.
Yeah.
But I think that we don't realize how much impact we can have together.
Yeah.
I think that is where we need to get better. Like all of us that started out at the same time, that over this short period have done some freaking crazy things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like we need to reward each other. We need to give out. We need an award
Yeah, but I
ceremony.
mean, it really shows us how busy we are.
Yeah.
Because this is the time we get to hang out. We're like, let's do a podcast.
Purposes.
Yeah,
It's
you
fun
know,
too.
and
It's fun
like
too.
let's hang out like this. But
Right.
just like we have to force ourselves to get together, and
Right.
I think we could do some even crazier things all together for all of our communities. Like we
Yeah.
all have communities, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
Yeah,
we got to make it happen.
all-
So hold
like-
us accountable.
Yeah.
Yes. Hold us accountable.
But all the communities all kind of like they know each other. Like, it's like, hey, we don't like force people to come and be with
No.
the Hui Mastermind. It's like, hey, there's plenty of options out there.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
There's Keone, there's
Yeah.
the other wholesale guy out there
Yeah.
on the
Yeah.
west side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Travis.
Travis,
Yeah.
yeah.
Max Gaines on the big
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you guys, and they have plenty of options. So it's just, finding out what their why is and who they pick as, someone that they can relate to. I guess.
And then just
Yeah,
going
yeah.
all in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Ultimately, it's just about going all in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
When
Well,
I think your original question was, who are your mentors?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for me, I tried to attend like other higher level masterminds. So Brandon Turner
Right.
usually does one on Maui where
Yeah.
he flies in people.
Yeah.
But I want to do something similar to that, and that's
Yeah.
what we did for the Maui Summit. Was we went on a boat? Like a lot of people, even though they were from here, had never been
Never
on a
done
boat
that
before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
And
crazy.
And would never spend the money on themselves
to
Yeah.
go do that.
go on a
It's
boat
so
and do it.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if we can come and think about something like that, because I like the masterminds that I went to are expensive, but they took you out of your regular day to day. We're not just gonna go sit in an office. Like
No.
we are gonna take you out there so you're in the right mind frame.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
To
that's
then
cool.
think bigger.
Like full, like experiential.
Yeah.
Like you're
Something to
I
look
get that. That's
forward
cool.
to and then fully fill your cup.
And not all of it was business related. Like
Right.
It's very eye opening to be in rooms with people who are, billionaires, and they're talking about, I want to spend more time with the same things we're talking
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
But that's their priority when they go to this mastermind, is taking themselves out of the business and really just reflecting on what's important to them.
So you want to start I'm like, so we're starting another business?
Yeah,
We got it.
starting
That's how
something.
you
Let's do it.
business, but planning an event.
Planning an event.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Campfire. no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, campfire. That's cool.
I like that.
Yeah. What
So
other
what?
questions?
So what else do you guys have coming up this year besides what other goals are you working on besides the 32? I mean, that's friggin'
That's
could
a
be its own thing in itself, and
that's
that's
Goliath,
Yeah,
yeah.
huge. But like, what else?
We
what
got
else
Hui
is
Mastermind,
happening?
obviously, keep pouring into that. You got the lots. Like, what else? Because you guys run businesses separately
Yeah.
in
Mm-hmm.
addition to together, So, what are your individual
Oh.
goals this year?
So I'm just finishing off. I didn't tell well, she knows and they know that I'm finishing off my book.
Oh,
I've been working on a book about
your
kinda-
life?
Not life. It's more of being priced out of paradise. So
Okay.
working on the book cover, and the name of the book is called Priced Out of Paradise, and it's basically showing that it can be done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's going to be
kind of like how,
huge.
I started and how I got involved. And then we talk in the book, I also talk about the Hui Mastermind framework and, the steps on how you can get involved with real estate.
Yeah.
And it's been crazy. I'm not a book writer.
Yeah.
I have it all in here. So I was able to hire a team to help me, put it all on paper.
Yeah. How did you find that team?
Social media.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, social media was, an ad came on, and all the ads, the funnel, you talk to the sales guys.
Yeah.
Okay, this makes sense. This is what I was looking for since I came out.
Yeah.
I was looking to kind of put together a book where I could share to others that, like, hey, if this crab local boy went through trouble, got out the bucket, now tilt in the bucket to show that you can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just a thing where I felt that I needed. So that's what I was been working on alongside with, working on making our Hui Mastermind now academy. Instead of doing like the 4-week thing, we're doing a year-long mentorship, Thursday weekly calls, lifetime access to our videos and our documents and stuff that
Resources, all the resources.
Yeah.
we share a team, guest speakers and stuff like
Love
that,
it.
and then more free events. We do property tours.
Yep.
And just trying to make it better, for more people that are here in Hawaii that wants to learn this business.
Yeah.
Love that.
Love that. Well, let us know when your book comes out because I want to promote it because it's needed,
No, 100%. And we got to talk to you about it after because we are not writing a book right now.
But it is something that we've talked about.
It is something that we've talked about doing and have talked to initial stages of what that would look like.
I want to know your process, like your experience, your team that you worked with, because when we're ready for it.
These people are just amazing, I spent hours with them on a Zoom call, brain dumping.
Yeah.
And they wrote, and then just working back and forth. I read each chapter.
Edit. Refine.
And it's like, it kind of got the, local Hawaiian history in there too. I put a little bit about that. How real estate is different. And then talk about people that's coming from the States that, buying properties and just leaving the houses empty and not, renting it to locals. So a lot of that stuff is in there as well.
Love it.
But
that's cool.
The team, I'll definitely share with you guys. Definitely, and her too. She needs to write a book.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, everyone has.
We all probably should.
Very unique story to tell for sure.
Wasn't cheap, but it was to me, it was worth it. But the package was where they're gonna, put me on podcasts like this. To promote the book.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, that it came with it. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, for me, it's really just honing in on my portfolio that I have now, selling off my smaller rentals that aren't making me the cash flow that I want it to be right now.
Yeah.
And putting that money into bigger projects and being more passive with it.
Yeah.
So outside of this, I do also have our $50 million fund where we help people invest into bigger projects.
Right.
And so just recently, you had to be accredited to be a part of that fund. So we just started another one where you don't need to be accredited.
Nice.
And so we're working through the program and we'll keep you updated on how that goes.
Keep me updated because are you guys taking on other projects? You know what I mean? Have you acquired it already? Because we have 192 units in Oklahoma City.
Yeah. So we're still putting everything together because we seen that with the fund that wasn't my initial people that I wanted to help grow their wealth, right? Wasn't people that already were
accredited and millionaires.
Making so much money a year, which isn't a bad thing because that's same position as us.
Yeah.
But I wanted to help those people who are like, man, I only have $5 or $10 grand, but I don't want to keep in my savings. I want to put it in something.
I want to invest. I want to grow wealth.
But they don't have the minimum normally for a lot of people. So they don't have the opportunity,
Yeah.
So we did start, we are in the process of starting
that part.
A club for that.
Okay.
That's
where
cool.
you basically JV partner.
Yeah.
So there's a bunch of guidelines that you have to follow.
Of course.
Because we already have a fund. They just have to be, it'll take a little bit more time, but we're excited to just launch that as well.
That's
and
cool.
That is
help more
exciting.
people become money magnets.
Love it.
Oh.
Money magnet.
I'm like, where can they get a money magnet?
You had to have come to our event.
Oh, nice. That was today. Yeah.
Exclusive
Love that.
bracelet. No, but I think too, just connecting with other people, seeing where we can add value. Like we just had a workshop where Amy Majuri, I've spoken at her
That was
event.
cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was
she's
cool.
a big time capital raiser.
Huge.
Oh, yeah.
Huge. Yeah.
I asked her while she was on vacation. Girl,
Smart.
You're going to be here.
Can you have one day? No, and I think when you start surrounding yourself with other people that are on the same path as you or have the same values and mission, she honestly, we connected right away after I spoke at her event. It was like, almost like when you add value to someone else, they want to reciprocate that.
Yeah.
And so her husband was fine with it. And she's like, yeah, I could do a one-day workshop like this. Like she does it and she charges a lot more than
Of course.
the entire weekend that we had with people.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we were just felt blessed that she would speak to our locals and encourage them and just inspire them because she's been on HGTV.
Big
around
time.
The way
for
she
years.
speaks, like,
Oh, yeah.
is flawless. Like,
Yeah.
it's
I
like,
agree.
oh, crap. I told her I like learn how to speak.
And she had people raising money on the spot. And
That's
that's
cool.
what I like about her workshops. And that's what I try to implement as well. Is like take action right now. Like I want you to be in here taking action and making moves because you're good. You can only learn so much. If you don't apply it, then it doesn't mean anything.
Nothing.
Yeah.
It's not going to progress you anyway.
Right.
Yeah. Well,
Oh, this is amazing.
I
You got
can
to
ask
sit
like
with
a
you
million
guys.
more questions,
hey,
but I
let's sit
don't
with
want
you
to start
guys.
like
We're
an
running out
in-depth
of time.
conversation.
We
We're out
have-
of time.
They usually make
7
flights at
minutes.
8 p.m. and then this time they decide to do a 5:45.
Well, she's like, hi, I got to move my flight up. I'm like, oh, shoot.
It's because of the support staff.
Oh, the support
Oh,
staff.
That's right. That's
We
right.
got to
Staff
support
needs
the
to be-
support
So, yeah, that-
staff.
Saying that, we want to, you guys have staff too, so we want to thank our staff, the
Always.
behind the scenes because,
Oh, man, yeah.
of course, without them, oh man, we'd
I feel like you're only as good as your team,
yeah,
Yeah.
you know?
yeah.
Like, for reals. You're only as good as your team. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, team.
I was talking to you.
You're welcome. Yeah.
No, but I can honestly say to just hiring on someone to just help you just in the day to day and just catching your back on whatever has happened. And
Yeah.
when I said she reminds me to drink water and eat, she literally does and exercise and keeps me on point because she knows that if I'm at my best, then we can all be at our best together.
Right. So is she with you all day, every day?
She's still part-time. Trying to convince her to be full-time.
There you go. She's like, no.
no.
Part-time is good.
She can shut it off. We cannot.
No, I see
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
It's true. Like this, we will be working, and not even having nothing to eat. Like that's how much we are workaholics. Like for me, coffee in the morning, I'm good all the way to dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're pretty much the same way, but it's green tea now. We
Yeah, I
haven't
don't
had
drink coffee
since
anymore.
January.
Wow.
Big
I know.
change.
That's a
Congratulations.
massive
That
change.
is a huge change.
Well, we were on a cleanse for the first 3 months of the year, like a huge diet.
Gut cleanse,
gut
like an
cleanse.
intense one. Yeah.
Yeah. It was good.
Yeah.
It was hard, but it was good. It's
No
the healthiest
rice,
we've ever
no
eaten,
carbs.
ever.
It was like one of
just-
those no carb ones.
It was just meat and veggies, honestly,
Yeah.
and some fruit. But yeah, it was like elimination, and then start putting things back into your diet to see what is messing with your body.
Yeah, what your body, it's like what your body reacts to
Yeah.
negatively to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're back to eating whatever now.
All the shit.
It was a cleanse.
Except
so
coffee.
cleanse done. It ends.
Well, thank you guys for
Yeah,
making
no, I
time
appreciate
and
you guys
coming
coming
out.
and talking story with us.
Where can people find you? I know they already know where you at, but just in case.
I'm HI Fuzz on Instagram.
And I'm Invest with Zasha on all platforms as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right on.
Reach
Right on, you
out.
guys.
Thank you.
Time to get paid, blow. Time to get paid. Time to get paid. Blow up like I'm blowing up.